looks
We
of
are
it.
ready,
Wow.
ready.
Yeah, wow, that's fast. Wish only matches were that fast.
Well, here we go.
Yeah, this is Undertale. Hello, people. Welcome to the video game where we mash text really fast and kill a lot of things, in this category in particular.
So we have the potato _666 versus WizardVapes. This is going to be quite an interesting race since their PVs are kind of similar. Kind of.
I wonder who's going to be the first person to tell Wizard that his timer isn't running. Very interesting.
I'm going to go look at his stream real quick.
Either way, though, while any of those bits are being sorted out, we're getting started with the game and the category proper. So, yeah, just a couple of puzzles to solve right off the bat, although in a few rooms' time, we launch straight into combat. Genocide is very unlike all of the other categories you can do in Undertale, in that rather than avoiding all combat, we actually do as much of it as possible. And not only that, we have to actively go out of our way to initiate as much combat as possible, since in order to fulfill the route requirements, you need to actually destroy every living thing in each area, which requires you to actively grind. So both our runners just getting off with killing a first frogget, and although that frogget doesn't count towards the kill requirement itself, in RTA you really do want to still take the time to kill that frogget, as it gets you an immediate level up to level 2, which boosts your attack power and makes the subsequent kills a lot faster.
So I'm not sure what we're going to do about this timer not running. I don't know if it's Windows focused or if it's just not working.
And a long corridor, because why not? Hardest corridor in the game. Once they get through this corridor, we are going to be getting started on the real meat of the run. This is where the grind really begins. So Ruins is a little bit of a strange area in that the grind is going to be segmented into 2 specific areas. In these first couple of rooms, the runners can get either a Whimsun encounter, which Potato just got, or Frogget, which WizardVapes just got. It's a 66% chance for a Frogget and a 33% chance for a Whimsun. The Frogget is worse to get as it takes 2 turns to kill, so they want to get as many Whimsuns as possible, and they're going to stay here and get 12 encounters before moving on to the next room.
It's not a great start for either runners.
No, it's not looking particularly favourable right now. So the reason that the strategies are being used right now the way they are is you can see that the runners are transitioning to the next room every time they finish an encounter. Encounters in this game are based on your step counter, as you may expect from a standard RPG, but the step counter resets every time you transition to a new room, and this is faster than staying in the same room and grinding for extra encounters. The encounter rate is also going to gradually tail off the more kills they have. Like, the more they kill stuff, the longer it's going to take to get encounters. And at a specific point, it's going to become faster to get more than 1 enemy per encounter, which is the point where they're going to move on to the next half of the grind, where they'll be able to get more than 1 enemy in an encounter. Hopefully, it is RNG dependent. There you go, there's some Whimsuns.
Ruins does tend to be very reset heavy when you're grinding runs on the normal.
Mm.
And not to mention quite frustrating.
So with a boost to level 3, the Frogget encounters do become slightly faster. You can see that once the players get into combat, you deal higher damage by landing the cursor as close to the center of the screen as possible. But with level 3, we're able to get away with getting a 2-hit kill on Frogget by using quote-unquote worse hits. It's a very minor time save, but you may as well squeeze it if it's there, and that applies for quite a lot of the enemies in the game, actually. but it's slightly faster to go for imperfect hits. As is definitely the case with the Whimsons there, just any hit will kill them in one hit, regardless of quality.
So it seems like Potato is at 11 kills right now.
Mm-hmm. The Whimson, nice. It's starting to look up. Like, the first half of the grind really wasn't good, but this is looking a lot better. And then kill number 13 will take place in this room. Since a lot of steps, we may as well just get it here before moving on. Wow, yeah. Not too bad. Don't fall down. Okay, that seemed close, actually. I was a little surprised that no falls happened there. Okay, so this room, for the second half of the grind, this is at least as much of an RNG test as the first half. I'd say more so. So we've got a double mode small encounter here. This is one of the few encounters you can get in this area. Only one encounter generates a single enemy, and it's a 23% chance to get it. It's pretty much the worst thing that can happen to get multiple of those, especially when you have only 2 enemies left. Being that the encounter rate gets lower the more kills you have, if you have only 1 enemy remaining, it takes a long time to get that last encounter, so we really don't want to see 1 enemy appear at 2 left, but it is purely RNG whether it happens.
Oh.
I am not sure if this is going to be Wizard's race. I'm very unsure, but we'll see.
Oh my god. Wizard is getting wrecked.
This is not really fair. This is kind of why I don't run this category seriously anymore. This is not very fun to grind PB attempts of when you are this beholden to RNG this early in the run. I mean, at least this is at the start of the run, I suppose.
So this is why runes can, as opposed to normal runes in any other category is still a tiny bit frustrating, but this, what Wizard's experiencing is like the height of frustration in this category.
Yeah. And there's Potato getting the best encounter to add insult to injury as well. As it was just queried in chat a little bit, Double Frogs is not a bad encounter per se, but the best you can get is Frog at Whimson, because the Whimson is an instant kill.
Now I think he's at 18. He fled from the Frogget.
And as I mentioned, each of those single mod small encounters, those are each a 23% chance. So to get 2 of those in a row, that's wow. That's like 1 in 16 on its own. And yeah, Potato's RNG is way, way better so far. Okay, at least there's no single. It's not the best result, but it's far from the worst result.
So Potato done his grind, and Wizard is left
Oh, wow.
in the dust right now.
Okay, and now I suppose he's on 2 left. And this is... I really hope I'm not going to eat my words on the next encounter and see another single. I really, really hope it's not going to happen. Okay. It finally threw him a bone. Wow. That's good. It's the best possible encounter as well. I'm sure Wizard is breathing a bit of a sigh of relief right now. I hate ruins so much. But now at this point, both runners are just progressing purely to the end of the area. There's nothing to do except solve a couple of puzzles and just go and kill Toriel as quickly as possible. So if the runners at this point are not very confident about their ability to beat Sans without healing. They can choose to pick up the pie at that spot, but it does take at least another several seconds. And there's a much faster heal that we get access to in Alphys' lab, which most runners opt for instead. Very difficult boss fight.
So Potato is finishing off a quite average ruins time for Geno.
Yeah, this is looking like a 1050-ish. Yeah, 1050, 1051. It's, like I say, kind of average. I wouldn't exactly be happy with that in a PB attempt, but in a race, it's more than good enough to get you started, yeah. All right, so leaping into Snowdon now. Pretty much as soon as this area gets started proper, the runners are going to be picking up their first weapon upgrade of the run. They get to stop off at the box and pick up the tough glove that's inside. It is a big power increase from the stick they currently have, and it is very necessary for two-hit killing many of the enemies in Snowdon, which there is going to be 18 enemies of. There's some additional encounters in fixed locations that don't count towards the step count, but the grind limit in Snowdon is 18 kills, and most of that is going to take place at the very end of the area.
So nobody lose hope for Wizard. As with Genocide runs, it can turn around easily.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, despite Potato being as ahead as we see right now, there is absolutely no guarantee that's going to remain the state of affairs. I mean, it could go the other way, and we could just see the gap gradually widen more and more. It is possible. Anything can happen at this point still.
Hello, human.
Okay, so no phone call on Potato's side. I really hope. Again, this could happen to Wizard, and it would just be an additional slap in the face. It's not a huge time loss to get the phone call, but it's just a flat 10% chance to get a small cutscene, which just wastes a little bit of time.
So Potato's throwing the stick here at Lesser Dog, which makes it possible to spam a hit on Lesser Dog, which is much faster than hitting him twice.
Yeah, it's still a two-turn fight, but it winds up being a slightly faster 2 turns just due to the menuing and lack of attack animation.
So Wizard did not get the phone call, which
is good. Again, if something bad is to happen in the run. The phone call, it's annoying, but it only wastes a couple of seconds maximum. So now Potato's going to be getting one encounter on the bridge here before going into a mini-boss, and it's going to be either Ice Cap and Jerry, like this, which is actually preferable near the start of the grind, or we can also get Ice Cap, Childrake, and Jerry. Those are the two enemy groups that we're really going to see for the remainder of the area. And being that Jerry is pretty much a filler enemy and just wastes time, Jerry doesn't really take a turn if there's nothing else on the screen, so for Ice Cap and Jerry, it's still a very fast encounter, and we actually choose to spare Jerry in those instances. It's quite a common misconception about Genocide overall, that a lot of people think you can't spare anything in the routes. That's not strictly true. You do need to kill every unique encounter, such as the mini-boss Potato has here, but for regular enemy encounters, you can spare as much as you want, as long as you just fulfill the kill requirement. And being that Jerry takes a very long time to kill, it is always preferable to spare Jerry if we can help it. At the end of the grind, we're pretty much always going to be put into a coin flip situation, though, where depending on which encounter you get, you're going to have to kill Jerry to save the time, or you might get to skip him if you get 2 extra enemies in the encounter.
I still think that coin flip is rigged.
I mean, yeah, it's just like the mold small coin flip is rigged. The 23% coin flip, which always happens. For me, at least.
We're coming up to the big dog, the greater dog here. So once you attack greater dog, there's one of 2 animations that can happen. One is a sleeping dog attack, and the other is just I believe it's a sword going towards you. You want to get the dog attack, since if he gets it, you'll see why. So yeah, he gets it. Once you run into that dog, it cancels out the entire attack, and you can just attack again. You got both of them, which is great.
So now this screen that Potato was on, after entering Snowden to reset the screen, this is where the grind is going to take place. And as I mentioned, for the first, I'd say half of the grind, so the first few encounters at least, it is preferable to see Ice Cap and Jerry alone, if possible. Alright, good start.
Looks like, yes, you got the spear attack.
Just about not able to get away with a 2-hit kill either. That's kind of unfortunate that if we were able to reliably do part of the Snowden grind at the start of the area by getting all ice caps, we would be able to be at level 8 before the couple of mini-boss fights, which does actually turn those fights into 2-hit kills, but the RNG is way too unreliable to deal with to try and do that.
So Potato has a good start overall on this grind here. And there's another one.
Yeah, for sure. This is really good so far. Wish my race runs looked like this.
If I got what Potato is getting right now, I would have had a 105 the other day.
Alright, I feel like it must be getting to the point now where we're going to want to see a switch to triple encounters, though, as Wizard has on that side of the screen.
And another ice cap. It's usually not the worst thing in the world. Just get a single ice cap and Jerry later on. It's only a big deal if you're at, yeah, 15. It can't count. Not at all.
One thing to note also in all these encounters is that whenever Jerry is on screen, the enemy attack animations take a couple of seconds longer for each turn as well. It's just another reason why we don't want to deal with Jerry, or especially for the first half of the grind, not having to deal with enemy attack animations saves a little bit of extra time for each fight. Alright, so that sounds to me like Potato has 3 enemies left, so I think he's going to just fight all 3 of these. I believe we're going to see a Jerry kill here. You can generally tell how far through the grind someone is just based on the audio, like when the encounter takes place, since the encounter rate pretty linearly drops. And yep, there we go. So whilst this kill is going to take a while, it will at least be the end of the grind for Potato. Right, I haven't exactly been keeping count on Wizard's side, but I hope, for his sake, that this is the last encounter. Doesn't look like it. Deary me.
So he must be at 15 or 16 right now.
I mean, I hope it's not 15, because then, in that case, it's a coin flip whether it's even the last encounter or not. Okay, so yeah, this is what I mean. I really hope this isn't 15.
Yeah.
Okay. Looking good. Potato taking the bare frame saver there as well in the Undyne cutscene by moving up against the wall slightly. Shifts the camera up slightly, and then it needs to spend fewer frames realigning to put Undyne into view. Like, it's a really, really minor time save, but since you're not doing anything else at that point, you may as well take it.
So the encounters are going to begin on Potato side for Waterfall. But this first encounter is going to take too long to kill, so we just run away from Aaron. Not even wash can wash away your sins.
So coming up now on the first Undyne chase sequence. Waterfall is a little bit of a different area in that there are a couple of technical movement sections like this where the runners can really lose a lot of time due to execution errors if stuff goes badly. Some of these spear volleys, they're like randomly generated to a degree, but there's quite a lot that the runner can do to avoid these just with technique. Okay, looking pretty clean.
So the room that Potato just walked through, you don't have to move at all. All you have to do is just press and hold right, and the spears will never hit you.
I believe it is possible to get hit by the spears if you're moving up and down, but like it's very uncommon. So the kill limit for Waterfall is 18, and Potato's already had one. Wizard's also about to get one. In this room that Potato was in right now, we're always going to get a scripted double mold small encounter to start things off, so that'll always put at 3. And then right afterwards, we're going to be picking up the ballet shoes, which is the next weapon upgrade. And just like the tough glove, it's very necessary for this area. This encounter is going to be random and not lucky.
The worst encounter you can get.
Very good hit, though. Introducing us to how the ballet shoes actually work. You need to hit these 3 cursors as centrally to the screen as possible to do extra damage, and you actually got a perfect hit, which is a 2-frame window with the ballet shoes. 15th of a second to land each of those hits in the dead center of the screen. But Aaron is, unfortunately, as Snowy is saying, the worst encounter you can get there. It takes 2 turns, and it is a single encounter. There's a variety of encounters you can get there, and it's just by far the worst. So that's kill number 5. So after Temmie, it's going to be 7. So Potato's going to have 11 left when entering the actual grind section, which does have a couple of scripted encounters at the start of it. Alright, I'm going to be interested to see if Wizard actually gets a better encounter than Potato did.
Yeah, it looks like Wizard did drop the stick, which is great.
Memes, always the best, especially when they waste time. Alright, that's a much better encounter. That's the best. Another double mold. Notching up another 2 kills. So, this is the thing. Depending on how the rest of the grind goes, if Potato gets like really bad luck in the actual grind section and Wizard gets a really favorable set of encounters, this could do a lot to shorten the gap between these two. Since, just like the other areas, it is possible to get single encounters in Waterfall, and it can just be a little bit weird how the grind occurs in this section, especially because, unlike pretty much every other area in the game, there is a chance in Waterfall for the game to give you the same encounter that you just had. Like, each enemy has like a encounter rate, but there's a specific value in Waterfall that determines you're going to get the same encounter that you just got. So if you are super unlucky, it is possible to end up getting a chain of single encounters back to back. Right, Wizard now entering the second spear chase section. There is a very, very minor amount of time in change that can be picked up by having slightly tighter movement going through here, but it's difficult to claw it back, and a single mistake here contacting a spear can just result in a bit of time loss instead. Like, it's a tricky section.
So Potato is coming up on the grind section of Waterfall. And his first encounter, it will be scripted at the end of this wall here, which is going to be a Temmie. Which is an instant kill.
And even at this point, the next couple of encounters that he gets, they are still going to follow a specific order. He's now going to get Mold Small and Mold Big. And Mold Big does require a much better hit to one shot. I was going to say that's not quite good enough, unfortunately. Mold Big has 70 HP, so you do actually require quite an accurate hit to one shot this thing. Alright, now to see if he actually goes for the Aaron, since this will be another 2 turns. It really sucks that even with the ballet shoes being a lot more powerful, and even after another level up to 10, you still don't one-shot Aaron with a perfect hit. I hate it. Alright, so round 2 on Mold Big. Let's see.
Ooh.
Just. Wow. The level up will make those hits slightly more forgiving, though, if more Mold Bigs appear. Oh, alright, well.
It begins.
Well, here we go. A possible window into the worst case scenario where it's possible to just get nothing but Temmies now. Maybe we'll see if I've jinxed another run. Okay. Alright, well. This is the best encounter you can get. Like, this is overall the best encounter you can see for this remainder of the grind, because both of these are one-shot kills. Okay, I assume that Potato has 4 kills left then, hoping to probably get 2 here and then 2 in the next room. Even if we end up with 1 left in the next room, it's not a big deal, because the next room is so long that even with 1 left, we can just walk to the end of the screen and we'll still typically get an encounter before we even reach the end of the screen. It's kind of unique in the run in that sense. Okay, this is... Yeah, I don't know if this is 2 left or 1 left, and assuming that this is 2 left, this is a risky strategy because of the Temmie factor.
Even if with 1 left, you could still walk through the whole room, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So I don't know if he needs to kill this errand or not. We'll find out.
With getting the encounter where they did? Yeah, I was going to say it. I think that was 2 left just because of where the encounter occurred.
Yeah, you definitely should have killed that Mold Big.
Yeah, I agree. But fairly clean for Potato in that case. Doesn't need to re-enter the room for another encounter, so still going through in relatively prompt fashion. even with the Temi, all things considered. Speaking of which, so I'm assuming that Wizard is now in the same situation. Probably a case of, I mean, it's either going to be 3 left or 4 left at this point.
Wizard's
Interesting.
not getting as good as luck as Potato did get.
No, just like every other area so far, unfortunately.
So he's choosing to flee from the area.
So for Undyne here, this is one of the 2 fights in the game, which is, you know, a serious boss fight. This is a legitimately difficult fight. But where the Sans fight is difficult just to survive through, the Undyne fight is very difficult to complete quickly. It's effectively a damage race to try and get what we call the quick kill, where on Undyne's 15th turn, she uses a very slow attack that takes, you know, a non-trivial amount of time. It's possible to kill it in 14 turns, but your attacks need to be extremely accurate to do it. She has 23,000 HP, and you need to do basically an average of like 1650 damage per turn in order to reliably one-shot her, which requires you to miss almost none of these curses across the entire fight. You can see there that was almost a perfect hit, and that's like 1638. It's like just under the average requirement. There is really not much room for error in this fight.
So much like Asgore in neutral, we're not worried as much as dying as we are getting good hits.
Yeah, it's assumed at a high level that runners are going to be able to reliably finish this fight. It's just whether people will be able to get the quick kill or not.
So he's not doing too bad right now. Ooh, that's a bad hit.
It's unfortunate. Yeah, there's going to need to be a few more perfect hits to make this on pace at this point. Yep, like that. Just a few more of those and we're good. Okay, I think this is on pace.
This is going to be a close one for the on pace. Ooh.
Oh, I don't know now. 1400 as well.
Really
maybe
close.
with a perfect. If this is a perfect hit, then maybe. Oh! Wow.
That was the closest quick kill I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was not confident about that, but big congrats. Alright, let's see if Wizard can follow suit. Since now, Wizard does need to match that if he doesn't want to lose an additional 15 or so seconds.
So I haven't been paying attention to the right side, so I don't know what pace he's on right now.
It's been shaky. I think that he'll need to pull out like quite a few perfect hits here to make this on pace, personally.
That's not... I don't think he's gonna get it.
Yeah, I don't really think this is happening either, unfortunately. Well, I don't know, maybe. We'll see. No, it's not going to be good enough, unfortunately. I'm Potato going for a little glitch here. You want to explain this?
Okay, so what he's doing right now is he's entering the cutscene while holding the left key. Well, up, left, and right, which allows you to interact with that dog food bag as soon as you enter the cutscene at the same time. And then you could do what's called an overflow on the fridge. I explained in the completely wrong order. So you get tech storage first on the dog food bag. Then what happens after that is you have like an invisible frisk during the cutscene. So you move him over to the fridge while the cutscene is playing, and then you do what's called an overflow to overflow the fridge, which allows you to get the burnt pan early.
It's one of the weirder tricks in this game.
It's really hard to explain how it works.
There goes Thunderplane, by the way. It's a much easier one-shot kill with the pan than it is with the ballet shoes.
A lot of runners don't, well, a lot of the more top runners don't equip the pan until after the Muffet fight, because the shoe animation is quicker than the pan animation.
I mean, honestly, hell, if people wanted to be super optimal, they wouldn't equip the shoes until they're about to fight Night Night Magic, because with perfect hits, you can still one-shot the core enemies with the shoes.
See, a lot of people wouldn't trust themselves with that triple on the Astigmatism.
That's get good though. Just get good. As I keep kind of alluding to throughout these matches, once we get properly into making the Genocide tasks, we'll show what the optimal strats are.
So if there were a task for this game, I mean, not this game, but this category, what time do you think it would get? Do you think it would get close to sub 1?
I personally think that sub 1 is on the table. Yeah.
It's on the table. Okay.
Yeah, I think sub 1's doable in task conditions, because I don't really think there's a single area in this game in RTA where we actually use the optimal route or strats. We just use what's RTA viable. But I think there's a lot of untapped potential under task conditions. Like, we're pretty certain, for instance, like in Ruins, we're pretty certain that in task conditions you wouldn't even kill the first frogget for a level up. It doesn't count towards the kill count, and if you know that you're going to get all Whimsons, you don't need level 2. So, that, for instance. Yeah, Muffet is quite an easy one-shot kill, just as long as the hit is fairly accurate. And Wizard, unfortunately, getting really worst of a bad deal here. Clearly, either didn't go for or missed the early burnt pan trick, and then needing to take a little bit of a longer route just to get the pan. This is a little rough. We just need to come up with new strats then, Tommy. That's the answer.
So it looks like Wizard did not equip the burnt pan as early as Potato did, but also he was forced to use the shoes on the plane.
Yeah, that's right. Alright, so core. Even as much of a lead as Potato has built up here, if the core is bad enough, the lead can still potentially flip. Core can be really unforgiving if it wants to be.
As I hear in almost every race, single Night Night is lurking.
Yep. Who would ever... Nice quad. Those quad perfect hits, we're going to need to get those for the Night Night and Magic encounters to reliably one-shot them. So hopefully we're going to see a lot of those. And the astigmatisms as well, they don't need perfect hits, but you still need pretty accurate hits to one-shot these as well. They're counted as a trivial enemy, but you still don't have much room for error on them. These first few encounters in core are scripted as well, so they're following a certain order. And we will be seeing a Night-Night Magic very shortly. After that Night-Night Magic, the encounters will be randomly generated, and there is a whole bunch that we can see. Anything from a bunch of doubles to Night-Night Magic together, these guys, to a single Night-Night or a single Magic or even a triple encounter. The singles are just categorically bad, especially since they need quads to be one-shot, and the triples are going to save quite a bit of time anytime they turn up.
So we didn't get a quad on either of them, causing 2 extra turns here.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Unlike the ballet shoes, the frame window for a perfect hit with the pan or the empty gun is 2 frames. Well, is 1 frame, I should say. With ballet shoes, it's 2 frames, but it is frame perfect. And of course, Potato is immediately leaping into getting a triple, continuing the better RNG string through this run. Like, man, I wish this was my run. Even with Undying Quick Kill, like, yeah, wow. Always the worst feeling to get quads that you don't need. Like, you don't land them on Night-Night Magic when they're really needed, but then on trash enemies that don't require it, you just get them. And there's Wizard, unfortunately struggling with a astigmatism.
There's the single Night-Night that's been lurking.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god. Alright.
The double Night-Night Magic is not the worst encounter to get, but it does put a lot more pressure on the runner.
Yeah, assuming that you can hit optimally, it's pretty much like any other encounter. It's a double encounter, but for it to take the same amount of time, you need to get quad hits on both of them. Wizard seems to be struggling with the astigmatisms as well, making those 1 turns, which is sadly only really compounding matters. Another triple for Potato as well.
That's 2 triples so far. The most I've seen in any Genocide run is 5, I believe, by Shay.
Again, like, alluding to the TAS again, when the TAS happens, you'll see like 9 of them. Almost a quad there for Wizard, but just slightly off.
Of course,
another useless quad.
Quads.
Wow. This isn't fair. Wizard's random encounters don't look like they've been bad though. Like, maybe I'm just not watching at the right times, but I'm not seeing a lot of Night-Night Magics on that side of the screen.
He did get one. I'm not sure if he's out of the scripted range right now.
Yeah, definitely is, for sure.
Okay. Oh, there we
Well,
go.
alright.
Pretty standard RNG on his side.
Quads, though, just always going for Potato when they're not really necessary. Just, again, like, I'm hoping that when the right enemies appear on the screen that the quads still manage to appear. Oh, that's a questionable decision moving across the bridge at that point, because now there's going to be extra downtime from leaving the screen. I mean, I actually just choose to move across the bridge as the grind starts because the encounter rate remains so high here that you can typically stay on the same screen for at least a few encounters and not really lose a lot of time. There's a lot of debate as to whether it's faster, and I believe people have said on average it's faster to leave the screen, but it's not necessarily slower to stay on the screen for at least a few encounters.
I'm not sure if Potato was banking on a triple here or not.
I would assume not, because it's not a good probability play.
And no, he wasn't.
A triple's like an 18% chance, I think, so that's, yeah, okay. It's not a good strategy to rely on that. So now these last 3 encounters on the Warrior Path Bridge, these are scripted, so they're very quick. We deliberately wait until the end of the grind to get these, and this is a last night magic. So it should go without saying that we wait until the end of the grind to do this because it's better for the encounter rate. We may as well get random encounters while we get them quicker. And then once it slows right down, just get a bunch of scripted encounters to finish up. Nice. Yes. Quad at the last important opportunity. So that is the last quote-unquote difficult hit of the run, really.
I don't think Potato is on the 106 pace.
At the same time, I don't think it'll be that far off, really, with the run being what it is. The Ruins wasn't too bad. Like, getting out of Ruins like 1050. Getting Undying Quick Kill definitely helps, but it's probably not 106 pace, no. Like, my run's barely a 106, and it had like a 1020 Ruins. And yep, re-equipping the ballet shoes. As Snowy alluded to earlier, the animation on the ballet shoes is faster than any other weapon we have right now. And since none of the other encounters or fights in the game are actual fights, we kind of just attack for the sake of it to progress the fights. Faster animation just means we're going to go flat out faster in these fights.
Yeah, this is going to be a probably mid to low 107 for Potato. Granted, he doesn't have to heal or do anything stupid during Saiyans. But even at this point in the run, it's still not over till it's over.
Yeah, it would take a serious error at this point, such as dying against Sans, to actually reverse the result of the race at this point. There have been plenty of like half opportunities for the RNG to swap stuff to this point, but right now RNG is not going to do anything. This is all up to the runners now. Come on, real knife strats. Real knife and heart locket. This is the kind of opportunity I've been waiting for in my races, to be this far ahead to just take the knife without any... Nah, come on. It's zero risk, dude. Come on. Wizard's also done, so Wizard also just beelining to the end now. Come on, let's see the ballet shoes. Put them on, put them on, put them on. There we go. Always makes me feel a little anxious when they get out the final encounter and don't immediately equip the ballet shoes. I just think like, oh, did they forget to do that?
My split name for this section of the run is called Equip Shoes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is one of the first races I've seen where there is actually a serious time gap entering this section. Like, I've been really surprised at how many races throughout this tournament have been as closely fought as they have been. Like, some of them have just been like a few seconds apart at this point in like the 15 to 20 second region, but this is like a serious time gap that we see here, and this is honestly what I expected to see more of in this tournament.
I don't know if the race you had between you and I forget who you raced. The one where you memed, got the heart locket and stuff. It was like super close, and you lost because of that.
Well, it was because I got the real knife specifically. In my second race, I did just get the heart locket, and that doesn't waste any time except for to pick it up.
Does the heart locket even do anything against Sans?
No, okay. It's just for the roleplay factor. I believe the only piece of armor that does anything against Sans is the stained apron, which I don't believe you can even obtain in Genocide. I might be wrong, but I don't think you can.
This Megalovania sounds a little bit different.
Yeah, this is a different music track. Very unconvinced by what the bass is doing. These are not the right root notes.
I'm not sure if that's a kazoo I'm hearing. Or a guitar. Because if I were to guess, this might be the me gunner version of Megalovania. Now it just sounds very echoey.
So the first half of the fight is about to be over here. The second half of the fight isn't nearly as scripted as the first half is. There's a lot of randomly generated attacks in the second half. There are some attacks that you can cheese for basically free as well by just holding down all 4 directional keys, as long as your keyboard supports it. Oh, taking a heal. Okay, I mean, that is the best opportunity to take a heal there. It doesn't cost a lot of time. So clearly taking no risks here.
Definitely the most awkward attack of Sans.
Mm-hmm.
Music's fading out mid-battle.
And then it's going to start up again. There you go. Gotta say though, Potato is in very good shape here. Like, almost a full health bar, only a few turns left in the fight. I will be really surprised if something happens here.
Wizard got hit quite a bit at the first attack.
Oof, that's a bit of a miscalculation, but still so much health left that this should be more than fine.
Ooh, Wizard is really low on health right now.
Oh yeah.
Might be taking an early heal.
And I believe in you. Just don't fall in the ocean of bones. Geno, meanwhile, on the home stretch, last attack. And that's it. Yeah, GG's to Potato for sure for taking that the whole way, hanging on to the lead the whole way through, not sacrificing it at the end there. Like, the run isn't over yet, but I'm pretty confident in saying there's nothing at this point that's actually going to change the decision.
So Wizard is very close to dying right now on his side.
Last attack in phase one. One more. There you go. Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Close as it gets.
Yep. Wow. This is too stressful for me. Starting off strong in the second phase, though. Yeah, menu bones doing a gradual bit of damage, but as long as you just mash through them quickly, it's never that much. Quite a big hit taken there, though. Okay, good luck, Wizard. This, yeah, is going to be basically high 30s for the final attack.
And he pulled through.
Yep, he's also safe. Nice. May not be a win, but it is going to be a finish.
So Wizard is going to the 5 button. It looks like Potato's going to finish off a mid to low 107.
Yeah, looking at the boards right now, this isn't going to be a PB for Potato, but it's not too far off either. This was a very good run.
What is this PB?
107.03.
Dang. So within 20 seconds of PB, that's
Yeah.
pretty good for a race.
That's a very good showing, yeah.
Good old jump scare.
Mm-hmm. Always the correct choice.
So that's going to be the W for Potato. Okay, Wizard, we're not going to be able to see his time, I don't believe so.
I'm sure SRL will tell us what the time is. Or maybe, I'm not sure. Can always manually done.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see if we're going to get Potato in here just now for an interview. I'm not entirely sure. Don't know if we wait until the race is actually finished for that.
Yeah, timer for the race is currently at 109, almost 110.
Hello.
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 Yeah, congratulations on that run. That seemed like a pretty good run, all things considered. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, all things considered, it was really good. I actually end up only plus 18 for my PB, so
Yeah, I was noticing at the end there how close to PB it was. So, yeah, very good show. Wish I could get runs close to PB.
yeah.
And
Kinda surprised
Undying
I
Quick
got.
Kill as well. That's nothing to
Oh
sneeze
yeah,
at.
that was really hype.
Like, we were convinced that you were not going to get that.
Me too. Like at the end, I got a really bad hit. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get this, and then I don't know. Things turned around for me somehow.
Okay, so I'm not sure about the time that the Wizard got, but it looks like it's probably around a 110 or something. Because he didn't dot done. I don't think so. No, yeah, you got a 110.58. There we go.
Okay. You know, still a pretty respectable time overall. It's just, unfortunately, not all runs can have good RNG, you know? And that run definitely did not have good RNG.
This category just does that sometimes. But I'm happy though because I redeemed myself from last race, which I ended up getting like a 109. So ended up beating that by like 2 minutes.
Hello.
There it is. Hello.
GG's potato.
Thank you. GG to you as well.
Thank you.
I'm sorry about your RNG. That was, wow.
Yeah, it put me in a bad mood, and then everything that could go wrong went wrong. So that's just
It's just the genocide lifestyle.
Yeah, I know that feeling for sure.
I was just glad to not die to Sans, honestly.
You were very, very close in the first phase there. You were like at 1 HP. That was Maka S.
Yeah, I was sweating.
But GG's to both of you there.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys very much for the race. Very entertaining.
Thanks for having me.
And
No
thanks for
problem.
having me as well.
I believe we've got another one going in just 15 minutes, right? Between
Oh, wow.
Enhar and Shay.
Yeah, it's going to be me and you as well for that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess, I don't know, we should probably just stick here. Or,
Is that going to be on SpeedGaming 1 as well?
Yep.
yeah, it's gonna be
Alright,
Staying
cool.
right here.
Yeah, it's a must watch. Stay tuned.
It's going to be an interesting race. We have Shay versus, I still don't know how to pronounce his name, Inara.
I pronounce it Nar. I think it's supposed to be Anahar, but I'm not really sure 100%. But they're
Yes.
both really good runners, so good luck to them.
It's going to be very interesting for sure. But I'm going to be right back. I'm going to get water to stay hydrated.
I'm going to do the same thing, yeah. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere, guys. Thanks again to our racers just now.
Alright, well, I guess I will go somewhere because I don't need to be here anymore, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm out of here too. Thanks, guys.
GG Wizard, and thanks everyone.
GG to you, potato.
Thanks.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks for watching.